So let's focus on the positives. And that is, there aren't any. Do not do this. I'm joking.
We are 6 months into this journey.
The brake lines on the truck exploded 3 days before we were going to leave. The tire on the truck got a big old knot in it as we were pulling out onto the interstate. The AC froze over before we ever even left. The black tank seal missing, but there was sewage leaking everywhere. On our very first stop, we fought about how to park in a pull-through site. The toilet got clogged. We had to buy a big old wand, which we've had to use again. Then in Texas, we went without AC for several days, and the RV tech had us go and buy an extra several $100 thermostat we didn't need. It's had its ups and downs. Stick around if you want to hear the positives.
So if you follow us, which hopefully you do, and this is a good time to say, we would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. If you'll hit the little bell, you'll also get notifications anytime we put out new videos. You can also follow us on Instagram or TikTok. Every month I put out our expenses for the previous month. So we're going to share some of those numbers averaged over these 6 months. We do have a payment on the camper and on our truck. So that's $746 a month and does not change. We have full coverage insurance on the truck, and we have full-timers insurance on the camper. It's important that when you live in your camper and you travel, that you have insurance that is for full-time living. Apparently there's only a few companies that do it, and if you were to submit a claim and you're living in it and do not have full-time insurance, it could be a problem. But the two of those together are about $150 a month. Phone and internet is a big one for us. It's more than it would be if we were in a sticks and bricks. Clint works remote, so we have to stay connected everywhere that we go. So we have all kinds of services. That's $310 a month. We also still have a storage unit back home. It's a 5x5 storage unit that has, things that we just couldn't get rid of. It's $85 a month.
Maintenance is a big one at $1,239 a month on average. And if you followed the channel, you probably know exactly why that is. We had to replace all of our tires. We had to replace one tire. We replaced all of them because we heard a lot of horror stories about the factory tires, which ours were. Camper. So we replaced all of those.
And we also replaced all of them on the truck after we got the donut or the egg or whatever on the one tire. The tire shop looked at them and said, hey, these are pretty old. So we went ahead and just replaced all of them.
We also had to replace the brake lines. Mm-hmm. They blew up 3 days before we were going to leave. So obviously not going to hit the road with no brakes. Then the hose on the truck that helps the turbo
do something
was cracked. We don't know for how long, but truck's driving much better now.
And that was actually just an afterthought. We brought the truck in because there was a leak, and when we brought it in, they found the hose and they had to take some parts off. But that was a large expense, to get some of that work done.
That's why that's so high. I think once you got everything, actually, you know what? I don't know if you ever get everything settled. So that may be normal.
Constant.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Leave us in the comments if yours is way less than that.
Yeah. We're budgeting $420 a month, and we've spent $1,239 a month. Now the tires were, I think, around $3,000 to $4,000 for all of those tires. So that was a pretty large chunk of change, but we want the number to go down. And now we may be having problems with our inverter, we're having problems with our water pump, and we're having problems with one of our ACs. So we may be adding to that list.
So just keep looking out for those future videos.
Yeah.
Plumbing with Clint is coming back. So then we have sites and memberships. So that's our nightly stays plus memberships like Good Sound,
Passport America.
We'll talk about Thousand Trails later because that's a whole different thing. But those, it's averaging out to about $612 a month.
Which I'm pretty pleased with.
Yeah, that's not bad really, considering how much some of these places cost to stay.
Groceries. If you do follow us, you see that I complain about the amount we spend every month, yet every month we spend so much. Our average is $1,159. We have a good month, and then we have a bad month, and then we have a good month, and then we have a bad month. And I think it's really just, it's all balancing out to about $1,159 a month. I don't know if we can get it any lower. Like, we're budgeting $800, But we've been budgeting $800 since before we had Theo.
And Theo eats more than all of us. We don't know how to make him stop. So then we have fuel, which is $657 average a month, which I don't think's that bad.
I think it's kind of trending down a little bit. I think in the last couple of months we've been able to get diesel for under $4 a gallon. And like when we first left in October, it was rare that we found diesel at under $4 a gallon. So like where we're at now, I paid $3.64 a gallon the other day. But our budget is $800. So a monthly average of $675, pretty good.
I think it's helped because with work, we're not like traveling every day. Even on non-travel weeks, it's still mostly just the weekend. And then Sarah and the kids will make some day trips to, libraries and museums and whatnot.
Relatively close generally.
Next, we have laundry, which is averaging at $58 a month. That will probably go up if Sarah keeps sending me and Lucas to do the laundry, because we don't know how the machines work. So we spend twice as much as she does.
Let me just give you a little pro tip here, okay? In the campground laundromats, generally, when your dryer is going, it never finishes in the amount of time, whatever time that money buys you, okay? You always have to add extra. But I don't know what to add to know when it's going to be done. So I will generally go and I set my timer on my watch when I put in laundry, Siri set a 45-minute timer or whatever. And then I go back before my laundry will be done and I check to see, okay, are they dry? If they're not, you add a quarter or you add 2 quarters, depending on what they are. Well, the other day I sent Clint and Lucas, so it wasn't dry. So they just waited until it was done and then started a whole new load at $2.50. Probably would have taken $3 for this entire load to dry. And it was 2 loads. Instead, they waited until it finished and then paid $5 more. So they're not allowed to do laundry anymore.
Like $8 and it was dry.
Fun and eating out. So that for us is anything that we do that is not groceries, not maintenance of some sort. It's any weekend, anything, the kids and I going to a museum, the kids and I doing, a homeschool event somewhere, and then any eating out that we do. All of that goes into that category. So if it's a lot and it's always high, that average is $1,096 a month. Yeah.
We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of eating out. One thing that is difficult in this lifestyle is to not treat it like a vacation. You can't treat it like a vacation. Most people don't have the money to live on a 24/7, 365-day vacation, right? Well, we don't either. So we have to remember free, cheap. That's why we have the reciprocal museum memberships. That's why we try to do free stuff, hikes and things, and we try to pack our lunch. Honestly, a lot of times we have more fun doing those things anyways.
Usually, if you can save money on the campsite, you're hours away from everything.
Yeah.
So when you go, if you don't pack a lunch, you can't wait till you get back to eat.
So it's all it's all juggling and figuring out exactly how best to make it work. The last category that I always include is any special purchases or upgrades. I don't include upgrades in our maintenance costs generally because, they're separate. So upgrades that we have done would be like our water filter, any renovations that we've done, our new mattress that we got for our room, the new furniture that we got when we redid the living area, those types of things.
Look at this green couch. Isn't that ugly?
No, it's gorgeous. I love it. I love our green couch. So anything like that is considered an upgrade to us, and it goes towards this category. And when I do share it on social media, I always, put a little explanation of what we spent it on. One of the other things that this also includes is our Thousand Trails membership that we purchased back in November. So this comes out to $1,327 a month.
So in the last 6 months, we've stayed at 14 RV parks for a total of 182 days and have towed this camper for an average of 410 miles every month.
Let's get into some even more nitty-gritty numbers now. From October 2nd, 2022 until April 2nd, 2023, we have spent $3,806 on overnight stays at RV parks, also including our camping pass for Thousand Trails that we bought when we first started, and a portion of our annual dues for our membership that we have now. We're not going to include our Thousand Trails membership cost in what we're talking about right now. Of the $3,800, about $2,900 has been at parks that are not Thousand Trails parks, for an average of $28 a night. And then at Thousand Trails, which is our camping pass that we had bought, and then a portion of our annual dues that covers the portion we're talking about, we've spent an average of $10 a night. So $28 a night at non-Thousand Trails, and then $10 a night at Thousand Trails. So we're saving on average $18 a night, which amounts to $1,331 that we feel like we've saved by having the Thousand Trails.
And we know everybody wants to know about Thousand Trails, and we have a lot of thoughts, and we will let you know what those thoughts are next week. So it won't be in this video, so tune back in next week, and we'll break down everything we've got about Thousand Trails, how much it costs, if we think it's worth it, all of that stuff. This stupid green couch is uncomfortable.
He's sitting in the crack.
So now for the good stuff, and that is all the... Stop! Why would you poke it? So now the fun stuff. What all we've done, what we have enjoyed, things we've gotten to see.
Yeah.
So first off, Lucas, he's not in here, but I know he would tell you, we've gotten to eat at one of the best barbecue places in the world, at Franklin's Barbecue. We also got to eat at Lewis's Barbecue. I don't know where they rank, but if you go there and you get that shredded beef.
And that was in Charleston, right? Yeah.
Yes, Charleston.
Franklin was in Austin, and then Lewis was in Charleston.
Then in North Carolina, and we did a huge disservice because I think it was just like 2 pictures, but it was ranked second best barbecue in North Carolina, and it was awesome as well. I don't know if you saw the video. Theo was all red because he kept eating the jalapeno chipotle spicy barbecue sauce.
So basically, we really like barbecue, and we try to hit at least one spot in every state.
And if you're gonna do that at these really good places, order ahead of time if you plan on getting any ribs at all.
And if you want brisket, order several days ahead, because both times they've been out of brisket for us.
Apparently people just flood these places for brisket. We got to see a topless lady in Austin also at a river. So if you bring your kids to the river,
I think that was called Barton Springs.
Cover their eyes.
Yeah, I guess that's allowed. I don't know. There was a couple of naked people, but that was fun.
It's weird. Maybe it's not weird. I don't know. Mississippi, that's unusual.
Maybe we're weird. We really enjoyed our time in Texas. That started off this whole escapade. So I think that really benefited us. You know, we started out somewhere that we really enjoyed. We really enjoyed all the things that we got to do there. And I'll be honest with you, we were really looking forward to a lot of the water features and things that we were going to get to do. And because of the drought that was happening at the time, a lot of the water places weren't open. You weren't allowed to get into the water. So we kind of missed out on some of those. But having said that, we loved the things that we did. I mean, Guadalupe River is still like probably #1 on most of our lists.
It's got to be the most beautiful place we've ever been.
Probably.
It's like one of the few places, except, well, in North Alabama also.
Yeah.
But there, you didn't even have to, you know how people put filters on the pictures to make the water? It just naturally looked that way. I don't know if our pictures look that way because you can't ever seem to get it.
Yeah, that stuff's never as pretty in the pictures, the videos, as it is. So when we post something and we're like, oh my gosh, just know that what we're seeing is like at least 3 times better.
Yeah, if we say it looks awesome, just take our word for it. Because we can't ever get the pictures. I don't know what filters people are using, but we haven't found them. But North Alabama, also beautiful.
Yeah.
Green
so
water
crazy.
for some reason,
I mean,
don't know.
let's be honest. When you're thinking of like, hey, where do we want to go and stuff, you know, like most people are not like, oh, North Alabama, like that's the spot. But that national forest, I think it was a national forest, that was right there by us was so gorgeous. I mean, those couple of hikes that we went on, there was nobody on them. The water was green in a lot of places, like beautiful, like bluish green. And I mean, it was just so pretty. Had it been warm, like the kids probably would have just said like, hey, can we just stay in North Alabama, please?
Yeah, when you can play family games of name that place, the Skoogadogee, whatever it is, you'll never figure it out.
For that video, I Googled how to pronounce that, and I found at least like 3 or 4 pronunciations for it.
No one knows.
No one knows.
So Just make up your own name.
Yeah,
but it was beautiful. So if you're in near there, Hidden Cove, it's a great park to stay at.
Yeah, it was. It was. We've enjoyed the beaches that we've been to so far a lot, especially the kids. Can't wait until it warms up a little bit so that they're not getting out of the water shivering the whole time, because we go just to walk the beaches and then they end up in it almost every time. So now we're putting bathing suits on them when we go because we know better.
Speaking of, if you want to go to a beach, Sullivan's Island,
yes,
incredible. Yeah. Especially if you go when it's low tide, there's like a little pool and then a beach further out.
Yeah, it was really
so
neat.
Theo got to play in the little shallow areas. It was amazing.
So as you can tell, we've really enjoyed the free or cheap stuff that we've done. Of course, barbecue is not free or cheap, but the outdoor stuff, the hiking, the water, the beaches, we've really enjoyed all of that we've gotten to do. Clint, at the fossil park that we went to in Texas, he kept picking things up and being like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "I don't think that's anything, babe. I think that's just a rock."
Yeah. If you go to that place, anything that looks like a fossil is dirt. Anything that just looks like a pebble, that's the fossil. So, I think someone every morning just sprinkles stuff out for you to find there.
No.
Kids loved it though.
I did. I thought it was great. You pay to do these expensive things, like the Atlanta Aquarium. Okay, that was cool, but that was $200 for our family. And if you asked my kids if they enjoyed the Atlanta Aquarium or going and running around on Myrtle Beach or Sullivan's Island, I bet they'd probably tell you the beach.
So my 6-month review, and just to recap, if you haven't seen all of our first couple of videos, I'm not a travel person. I was not sure about this at all. So I'm not like let's go see the world. I was like, let's stay in Mississippi and be consistent with routines. So, that being said, it's been great most of the time. I would say the only thing I don't enjoy is work, and only because when you're living in what feels like a constant state of vacation, it's frustrating to have to sit in the camper all day working. But other than that, it's been great. I think it's been good for the kids, although I don't think they'll realize it until a few years from now.
One day, they'll look back and they'll say, "Man, my parents were crazy. Let me tell you what we did." And it's okay. We can be the crazy parents.
Sarah's hoping we're the crazy parents that has them cool stories.
Yes.
Which we already do.
We're weird. I'm weird. He goes along with it.
The kids have bare-butted slid down a river in Texas, seen the Alamo, climbed Stone Mountain, been in the Atlantic Ocean, eaten some of the world's best barbecue.
Yeah.
So, second best barbecue in North Carolina.
I'm thinking. What else?
Obviously, I've had a lot more fun. Also, parks-wise, I don't think we've really stayed at any bad parks. I think the Forest Lake.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it was. Just something about it didn't seem right. It smelled like poop a lot, but that really wasn't the problem.
Too, we're people, and we get into funks. We get sometimes where we're just kind of none of us are really jiving together, and and I think we were just kind of there, and we really enjoyed Cashew River that we told you guys about. I really enjoy seeing all the different places and just seeing how things are different, from where we are. I love finding the neat things in certain states, and I love the kids and I have bought this neat little book that tells us about each state, and we're kind of learning about each state as we go, and we're learning early American history. We're going to be in areas we're learning about the Pilgrims right now and about Plymouth, and hey, we're going to be there. So a few things that we have learned in the process. Number one, like we mentioned, it's not a vacation. It's not a 24/7 vacation. So you can't treat it like a 24/7 vacation.
Or you'll be broke.
Number two, come up with some hitching, unhitching, setup checklist. It has made life so much easier for us, trying to remember, what do we do now? Have you done this? Have we done that? We have the checklist, we mark them off, we know what's been done.
Also, if possible, do not arrive at an RV park on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
Because it is a madhouse.
Right.
We were doing Saturday, but realized real quickly that unless you like driving through traffic, and I mean camper traffic, then don't do that. So now we get in on Sunday, so everyone's checked out, the weekend crowd. So there's a lot more open spaces. It's a lot easier to find a spot, and the percentage of people watching you back in drops by like 90.
Number 4, stay on top of maintenance. Pay attention to things. Check things out. He hates it. When it rains, I'm going around checking in corners, checking windows, anywhere that could possibly leak. Checking. Anytime that we do any kind of renovation, we're checking. Is there any water damage here? Are there any spots of water? We've not found anything so far, and that's great.
Get yourself one of those toilet hose clogger things.
A Camco swivel stick.
That's exactly what I said. Get yourself a Camco swivel stick. One, it fixed the clog when we were clogged in the toilet. But then one time, recently, it was clogged somewhere else. I don't know, in the pipe somewhere, something. And I was able to stick it in there far enough, and it broke that up too. So, the water pressure gauge. We didn't know how to use one. So, adjust that thing while your water's running. And then you can tell immediately where the PSI is. Whereas if you adjust it when it's closed, when all the water's off, it just stays there. So you won't really know what your water pressure is. We are learning constantly. And I think that is probably the key.
Yeah.
Just keep learning.
Another thing that has made our life easier is our RV lock. Everybody gets them and everybody talks about them. We were like, oh, that's cool, And we didn't get it at first. And then we decided that there was a big Black Friday sale. So we bought it. And that thing is amazing. Did you know that there are only a few keys for all these RVs? Like, there's a code on the key. And, like, my neighbor could have the same lock that I do. Like, I could go and use my key on theirs. And there's a decent chance that it's going to open it. Alright, another big thing that I think helps when you're living here. Make it yours. You see my gorgeous green couch here. Clint has his comfy leather chair. Leather, I don't know what it is, but his brown chair.
It's pretty.
It is. It's comfy too. We've changed mattresses. We've changed the kids' stuff around, We painted. We're trying to make this place feel like home by bringing in things that don't scream RV, and it does make it so much more comfortable for all of us. And another thing that people have commented on a lot of our videos with is, oh my gosh, you guys are so organized. So, okay, this place looks like a wreck like 80% of the time because we have a toddler and 2 other kids. But I am really big on everything having a place. If it doesn't have a place, I give it to Clint to put under in the basement. If he can't find a place for it in the basement, like, we've got to start deciding, okay, what are we getting rid of? Because if it doesn't have a place, it doesn't belong here.
And if it gets designated to go under, you put it in a spot. And if in 4 weeks no one's asked, you throw it away without asking anybody.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that.
And then you just hope they never ask for it. And if they do, you just say, oh, I think it was in a box.
And he's like, yeah, maybe you should go look for it. And am I really going to go out there and take out all those boxes?
Or don't even wait 4 weeks. But okay, I'll put it out there. And then just throw it in the dumpster.
I've seen him do that. I gave him something, told him to put it under, and I saw him walking to the dumpster with it right after that.
Sometimes you got to make a judgment call.
The tabletop.
We're gonna drive around with the tabletop.
We weren't gonna need it, but I just thought, like, hey, maybe if we did a project, we could use some of these little pieces of wood instead of going and buying some.
That's exactly why I threw it away. She said, what if we do a project? And I was like, I know exactly where this is going.
I am like, okay, I will get rid of this stuff in the kitchen. Like, we don't need this stuff, but like, ooh, maybe a project.
But the number one thing to be successful is to like and subscribe to the channel. So that you learn what not to do. Surely,
we have
through all these videos, you've learned how not to do your water pressure, how not to flush toilet paper, how not to fix an AC and buy several $100s worth of thermostats for no reason.
We've got a plumbing leak coming up for you shortly with Plumbing with Clint.
Yeah, so...
If you have no interest in doing any DIY, and you don't have a pretty substantially filled pocketbook, this may not be the life for you. Stuff is constantly breaking, and begrudgingly, this one has got to fix it. I help. I point and poke and tell him how to do it, but it's got to be fixed if it breaks.
It's a pros and cons game. There are cons. I think the pros probably outweigh the cons, though. Actually, I know for us they do. I don't know for everybody if they would, but so I mean, I'm not DIY. I'd rather someone else do it. What is that? SEDI? Someone else do it. That's what I would rather. And I'm not incredibly handy. I've worked in an office, so you know, if something breaks, typically I have no clue what the deal is, and I love it. So that's my point. And we'll give a 1-year review, because maybe 6 months in all of the flattest states in the country is not a good review. Maybe when we get into the Northeast, we'll hate everything more. Or like it more. I know everybody loves it up there, so...
We're so scared of the roads. We've already had our first little adventure in that we'll be sharing soon.
And Lucas is going to give up barbecue for lobster just for this trip. So
he is so excited
a huge advancement
about some seafood that he's going to get.
So anyway, that's it. 6 months. We love it. It's been awesome. Right?
I'm tired.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Like and subscribe it.